Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
Howdy.
Hello to everybody who is joining us in the chat. Thank you so much for joining. We are here joined by the lovely cast of Arcane. We are going to go ahead and give everybody a chance to introduce themselves. We'll just go in order on screen. So, Eve, if you would love to start us off, let us know who you are and who you play in the show.
Hi, I'm Eve Lindley, and I play Lest in the show.
Love Lest. And then we have the lovely Art.
is that me?
That is you. That is so
sorry.
you.
You're
the art.
The art of Arcane.
I am Tox Olagundoye, and I voice Mel.
That's amazing. All right.
I'm Mick Wingard, and I play Professor Cecil B. Heimerdinger.
And Bill Obley, and I play Huck.
Hi, I'm Katie Townsend, and I play Maddie Nolan, your favorite character.
Oh, Maddie, the one we all know and love, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it is so great to be joined by all of you. You look wonderful. I hope you are excited for a fun, laid-back stream. I was chatting with the cast behind the scenes, guys, for those of you in the live chat. We do have some pre-selected questions, both from you guys as well as from me. But if there's some extra time at the end, we will also be grabbing some from the live chat. So stick around. Your question might be selected, or if you had written them in previous posts, they might be one of the ones we will be reading off today. So to start off, I like to ask questions about you guys personally, a little bit more separate from the characters themselves, before we jump into the Arcane questions. So first question is going to be for Tox, actually. Growing up, you were educated in Nigeria, Switzerland, and England, as well as earned a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater from Smith College. Is there a piece of advice you still hold on to today that you learned from one of those places?
I mean, it's the weirdest advice in the world, but it works well. Today's not a good example, or last time either. I've been late both times. But my drama coach in high school used to say that early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable. And that is something that I always have in my head. And when it comes to acting, it is, you know, you want to show up and make sure that nobody's nervous and everybody can relax and know that we're going to start on time and be there in time to do whatever it is you need to do before you start, kind of a thing. It's a respectful thing to do. I'm so sorry I was late these past 2 times. I'm so sorry.
Maybe you need to go back to college.
I'm never going back to Smith College. No, thank you.
Oh, no, that's great. First. Yeah. very solid advice.
Yeah, and that was in England, not here in America. No.
So it's just fine. It's American time. It's fine. All right. Yeah, that's awesome. All right. So next question is going to be from Mick. You are a legend in the voice acting community. Out of the many characters you have played, are there any that you found challenging to portray?
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's an amazing question. First of all, thank you. I don't think I'm a legend in the voice acting community. I'm just...
you are. Stop it.
Thank you. Thank you. So that's very kind. So to answer the question, honestly, this is going to sound so... I mean, this is probably not the answer anybody's hoping for, but it's a little insight into the voice acting process for me. I wish I could say, oh, no, yeah, I totally, couldn't wrap my brain around Jack Black, or I couldn't wrap, some of these big roles that I've done. But honestly, one of the hardest things I've ever done was for an obscure, I want to say it was for a video game. It was for a cutscene in a video game that I was doing. That was a localized JRPG. I don't remember the name of it, but I had to basically play this very kind of emotionally small, like this Japanese man who'd like kind of turned in on himself, and it was only for like a scene. I had like 2 lines, but he was like sitting in a bar at like an air hangar, not an airport, but like an old school airfield. He's just in this little bar and he's got this drink, and he has these like small lines like this, and they have to be very quiet and in terms of getting the performance small enough, as you can already tell, I'm a larger than life guy. I like to play out here. So like doing that and making it sound credible was so hard. Okay. It was so hard. just like playing like the social smallness of this guy. Like he expressed himself much smaller than I did, and it wasn't just quiet. I couldn't just whisper the lines. It was that he had to sound like he had this like much smaller, less confident presence in the room. And for me, that's a huge struggle because I'm just naturally a higher energy guy. So that was a real acting challenge.
Nice. Okay. Oh wow, that's really fascinating. That's a really good point, though. Yeah, something that is completely opposite of whatever you naturally are. I could totally see that.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's cool.
All right. Awesome. So next question is gonna be for Katie. You have a lot of experience voicing video game and animated characters alike. Do you feel there is a difference voicing a character for a video game versus a television series?
Well, there for something like Arcane, there was a script involved, which is always a bonus.
Do you do video games without scripts or?
No, but Mick, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like this was a sort of fully fleshed out sort of gem with nuance and sort of breadth and depth and all of those delicious things. My experience in video games, and look, I've had the opportunity to work on some incredible video games, but for a long time when I was working in video games, I'd feel like I was winging it as I went along. And then I realized the reason I felt I was winging it is because they were often winging it with the script and I was kind of just along for the ride, right? Like I'd be sort of like, for me, a lot of the characters, or not a lot of the characters, some of the characters I've worked on, with video games, I think the creative process is omitted from that thing that we love as actors, that whole process of like backstory and finding nuance and subtext and all that's kind of omitted, and you have to build a lot of that in the moment as you go along on that journey of discovery. That's been my experience. But I've had the pleasure of working on these amazing open world games, and there's just so much dialogue that it would be impossible, right? It's not like working on sort of like shorter, more polished episodic games where there's a lot of sort of where that nuance and stuff is still intact. It's kind of it's a challenge. It comes with its own challenges and its own rewards as well, right? I've loved doing those games, but certainly working on something like Arcane, where it's this kind of beautifully crafted masterpiece and all the nuances there. And it's like the writing is such a gift. I mean, that has been something very different to the experience.
Yeah.
They've both been enjoyable, but this is just, as an actor, this is much more, much more rewarding to me.
Okay,
Sure.
Solid.
That's
Yeah.
I hope I didn't
Really
just
awesome.
on video games. I've had a really,
How dare you?
I love working. People know
What
that.
happened to
People
you?
follow me know that. I love the.
I agree with everything you said. That was
Thanks for backing me up. But I've loved working in those games. It's just that this has been, very special. Arcane is special. That's all I'm saying.
They're their own experiences, and that's fair.
Yeah, they are exactly. And if you don't set up that expectation in advance, if you know that with video games that's generally what you're getting, that's just part of the process. And so it's just a different sort of nook of the craft, I suppose.
Gotcha.
Way of
Okay.
working.
Apologies if you guys hear me sniffling. My allergies decided to just start acting up, so I'm like.
Oh,
holding a
I thought
sneeze.
Katie made you cry.
My emotional speech. Let it all out.
Yeah,
Well,
Katie did make me cry as
Oh.
Maddie in episode, what was it, 4? I don't remember. All right, that's excellent. Next question is gonna be for Eve. With your experience in costume making, have you ever found yourself thinking of other ways you would have dressed the character you were playing?
Wow.
Honestly, no. I
No.
thought she was so impeccably dressed and styled, and like it's been so exciting to see people like recreate her look. That's
Yeah.
I like my whole because I'm a big like fangirl of stuff, and I'm always like in another life I was probably going to the conventions and doing cosplay and stuff, and so like I've always had this desire for people to dress like a character that I've voiced or played, and so she I think she's so well styled. She's like her cool like smoking thing, and like I mean she's the coolest. Yeah.
Celeste has such a cool design. The first introduction, I was like, oh shit, she's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Would that be for any other characters you've ever played in other projects?
Redesigning their look.
Yeah.
Oh well. Do you have time? Because I have a lot of opinions. No.
That's excellent.
Generally, when you play a character who's not animated, you can have like a say in their designs. You know,
nice.
you try things on and decide what they're gonna look like and stuff. But
cool.
This was my first animated thing, really. So
well, she was lovely, so that worked out.
Cool. I love her. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. This one's gonna be for Bill now.
Oh, good.
Besides your long list of experience in voice and on-camera acting, I read that you are also a certified gourmet chef and musician. I was curious if you ever got a chance to show off your cooking skills to your friends while playing in the Richie Beekman band.
What a multi-layered question. Yeah, most of our songs are half-baked, does that count? It is funny because there are three like disparate things, like, okay, acting, right? And then I just started doing cooking videos because I wanted to be like you, Elijah. I wanted a huge following. And I'm like, oh, well, I love to cook. And then I started doing that. And but then music was always like on the side. So these are like three different avenues which really don't coincide. So but yeah, I mean, I think I wrote a song once that had something to do with food and it really didn't go. I think it was called like Fat Harry, and it was about I couldn't stop eating so he couldn't get a relationship. So it did work. So use a lot of like, you know, food references in it, but the guys didn't like it, which happens with most of my songs. But yeah, it is interesting. I think maybe a better way to look at the question is like how the three, you know, intersect. And it's all got, you know, it's all got the creativity in it. And, you know, for instance, take something like cooking. It's like there's ingredients and any chef would have the same 8 or 10 ingredients. But what does he do with it? What makes him a James Beard chef as opposed to the guy, you know, the guy at Chipotle, you know? So nothing against Chipotle. I love it. But, you know, you know what I'm saying? And same thing with a song. There's 8 notes, everybody. You know what I mean? There's like a lot of chords and a lot of different beats. But when you be like, okay, look, I have the building blocks. And it's like that with a character. You know, you get this, maybe you get a breakdown when they send it to you, like with, you know, any of us here got the initial breakdown for the character and said, what am I going to do with this? So, yeah, it is very much a mix. And then your final product is basically going to be like, this could be really, really good, or it could leave a horrible taste in your mouth. So, yeah, again, they don't seem related, but I think with anything creative, any artist or any, you know, singer, songwriter, actor, chef, sculptress, whatever, it's all about ingredients and how you put your mark on it. But, you know, keep it. It's like you're going to make Italian food. It's like no one's going to put like, you know, a beurre blanc in an Italian dish, you know? Unless it's a bechamel, which is blah, blah, blah. Okay. Anyway, I think you get the point.
Excellent. That was an excellent
bechamel.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Solid. All right. This one's going to be for all of you guys. So what we can do is we could just go in order of the way you guys are on screen. So we'll start with Eve and then work our way to the right. Which scene had you the most emotional while recording? If you have one.
I mean, I feel like I didn't do a lot of emotional heavy lifting. I just
That's fair. Maybe we could say like, do you have a favorite scene that you got to do as Lest?
You know, I did them all like on one day, and like it kind of was almost like one big scene. Like it was like just this like little mini arc that I did, and you know, in an afternoon, and it was a very long time ago. but I was really like because there wasn't so much emotional heavy lifting for me, I was really interested in like what it, you know, I hadn't done that much animation, and so I was really interested in like the technical stuff and like how that, you know, like the way that they were giving direction to me about like, you know, when you can't use your face to show emotion, like you have to do it in your mouth, in your voice. And like, so I remember like kind of being like trying to be a sponge about all the technical stuff. And I had to like match, she was already animated, so I had to match her lips. And that was I got emotional trying to do that for sure.
I bet.
Because
That's
at
hard
times
work.
fair.
really frustrating, but
It's hard work.
yeah, but so I'm sorry, I don't really
No, that was a great answer. No, that's
Mhm.
fair. That's really cool though to kind of hear that behind the scenes a little bit about your experience though. That's really interesting. Okay, I had no idea that she was animated first. It's cool to know. Oh, okay. How about you, Tox?
So, I mean, there are a few of them, but I think the one that I had to like really control, like personal emotion that was connected to it, was when Mel is under the impression that she is being reunited with her brother initially.
Mm,
Because for some reason that character, the character of Kino, reminded me of a friend of mine who passed away when I was quite young. He was in his 20s, and yeah, like I don't know why, it just reminded me of that, and like the idea of being able to see someone after you think you're never going to see them again. So I would, yeah, you know, I'd get and have to kind of pull that back a little bit. But yeah, it was probably that scene. We all know that feeling.
yeah.
It's a hard feeling.
I
It
totally
is.
would have picked that scene for you. I totally like that was my favorite Mel scene.
Well, there was a lot of real emotion in it.
Mhm.
Yeah, you play her so well with the emotion. It definitely comes across for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh wow, what a great scene to pick. Okay. How about you, Mick?
I think what is so amazing about playing kind of a whimsical character about Heimerdinger, or like Heimerdinger, is that they wrote him some very genuinely human moments, and I got to play some really killer moments, like when he gets kicked off the council, when he sees the hex core for the first time and it reminds him of genocide, and you know, when he you know, and spoiler alert for season 2, like when he has his song in season 2 and all that stuff. I have to say though, it was a scene that I did in ADR, which is what Eve was talking about, where you have to match, you know, the action on the scene. They had drawn the sequence of Heimer this is in season 1, where he's walking through the Undercity really for the first time, maybe in decades, maybe ever. And he's just kind of off the council, doesn't know what he's doing, and just I remember they were like, we've drawn this sequence, it's all animated, we just need you to fill in all of his reactions, and again, you know, Mr. I'm Ethel Merman, you know, like big guy doing like these little tiny like like little tiny reactions to seeing the drug addicts in the corner and being bustled and jostled by people who are so oppressed they don't care, and that scene where he finds the little girl who's, you know, scrounging for scrap metal and takes, you know, what she found, the little nut and the screw and the widget and things, and he turns it into a little top. That was really emotional for me. It was, you know, him connecting and wanting to find a place in a new world full of people who are strangers, right? And of course, there's always the layer of, you go too deep on it, you can go down the rabbit hole of like his psychology, but these are strangers that he helped create. He doesn't know them because of his actions, and the realization in that little silent scene and just kind of filling in the little details, you know, where he's like blowing on it and like this or whatever, like we added little things, and that was very emotional for me to record.
Wow. That was great answer.
Yeah.
Totally see that. Yeah, it was pretty intense to actually watch him go through all that. Like, this is the reality, buddy.
This is the reality.
By the way, I'm 2 for 2 because that was one of my favorite. And doesn't the dad like say, "Go on, get rid of that thing"? or
No,
something
no,
like.
think it
the
was
mom
a
says
mom.
the mom like pulls her away. And,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
that's
know,
what. Yeah, like one
yeah.
of the parents
Yeah.
was like, no, forget it. And then he just made this thing that was so important to him and gave
Yeah.
it to her, and they're like, get rid of that thing. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
yeah.
really heartbreaking, Mick. That was so well done.
Oh, thanks, man.
Also, Mick, when you got kicked off the council, or when Heimer got kicked out, I welled up, like it was so devastating. And that was one of the moments that like solidified Heimer as like one of my favorite characters, you know, my favorite character in the show. I just felt so much.
It's like when his ears like just do
I
the little
couldn't-
droopy
Yeah.
thing.
And he's
I know, I
he's
can't.
wandering around
I
town
know,
by
it's
himself. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, and he's so little. He's so
tiny,
little.
so cat boy.
Yeah. Okay. So then, how about you, Bill? Do you have any really emotional scenes as Huck?
Yeah, I mean, instantly in the first season, when after all he's been through, and then gotten into Shimmer, and it's just a mess for him, and then Vi comes by to try and save somebody, and he basically gives it all up to help her, and then basically the question is like, why? And his answer was along the lines of, I just wanted someone to be afraid of me. And it's like that whole idea of whatever you do, whatever substance you take, or whatever you tell yourself, or whatever drug you give yourself, emotionally or physically, to like be in like a different place. It often doesn't end well if you're not honest with yourself. And I think he encountered that. And that was just so heartbreaking for me to see that. And then, of course, she hugs him at the end. And like, really, that's all he ever wanted anyway. So that was difficult because it was so real. And, he was just some kind of grifter in a bar at the last drop. And now he winds up here, and then he can finally help somebody. And then taking that into the second season, when Victor transforms him. So again, he's still on a downward spiral. And then for some reason, after he tries to roll Victor in true New York style, Victor saves him. He's saved again. And this becomes, whatever you want to say about whether he was in a cult or whatever, but he is transformed and saved again. And going back to what Mick was saying, that was in an ADR session where they said, here's the animation. And there were no words. It was just reaction. But the subtext was there. Do you know what I mean? It's like, this is, you think you've had it. The herald's just gonna make lightning come out of your eyes and you're gonna die. And then it's like, no, you are transformed and saved. So it definitely had like a religious feel to me, that kind of like really like that transcendent thing. And so it was amazing. But again, what Mick was saying, here's the animation, please do it. Also what Eve was saying, it's like that thing that happens and you're like, wow, there's so much emotion underneath this and there's no words. But that's in the writing too, don't be mistaken. But those two scenes were, where the character gets to shift. And I think as an actor, anybody wants to have that kind of, something's going on here. He's not just selling used cars. You know what I mean? Something is happening, whether in scripting or action or whatever, or what the other characters are doing around you. And to have that, again, that's just more testament to like, the great creative scripting, and the arc of everything that happened in Arcane. So what a joy to be part of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's man, Arcane was such a journey. Such a journey for like every character too. So freaking good. All right, Katie, did you have any emotional moments as Maddie?
No, of course. My final scene with Kate broke my heart. I think up to that moment I'd been in denial, like I knew it was coming. Because the character Maddie wasn't supposed to be who she ended up being. The character, I started recording in like 2020, and maybe it was a couple years in. They were like, she might die and she might be evil. And I was like, oh, too much, no, my baby. And I knew this was coming. But recording that final line for me, that very sort of cold, calculating, callous delivery, I had goosebumps all over my body. Like because I'd also fallen in love with Kate. I'm also not just an actor in the show, but a fan of the series, a fan of these characters. And so I just and it's difficult because when you play a character, or at least for me, I always find sort of love and reverence for all the characters that I'm playing. And so when they make certain choices, it's very, I don't know, it's just very difficult. It was very difficult for me to sort of accept the reality of who she was and forgive her, right? Like, I see all the, I see people online debating all the time, like, Maddie makes me feel weird because I kind of liked her, and then she, betrayed Kate, and I don't know how to forgive her. There's a lot of this kind, which is, one of the many incredible ways that the show, that the show has carved out these very nuanced characters, these sort of morally ambiguous characters. But for me, it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I forgive her, but I love her. And I was devastated. Yeah, that was a really devastating moment. And also, like, the drama, especially going, when they'd spoiler for those who've not seen season 2, although I'm sure most people have. But spoiler, that when the bullet sort of ricochets back into and takes Maddie out, seeing that when the animatic was done was really upsetting and traumatic. For me, that was a horrible thing, a horrible but necessary thing.
That's fair. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
So sorry you had to watch your baby die.
I don't know what's gonna get all misty today.
We're starting deep, guys. All right.
It's a lot of watch.
Yeah, so sorry. All right, don't worry. We're going back to the individual questions. Hopefully these are a little bit more uplifting. All right, so those were some solid answers, you guys. Really interesting to hear your perspectives on those. And by the way, I apologize. Have I been mispronouncing your name? Is it Tokes?
Yeah, but listen, there's an invisible E. What are you going to do, right? It's fine.
I want to make sure I pronounce
it. Happened before and it will
correctly.
happen again. No worries.
The Arcane E.
All right, well, this next question is for you. It comes from Priscilla Garcia Mendieta. If you hadn't taken on the voice role of Mel, is there another character in Arcane that you would have loved to voice for?
Oh, boy. I mean, I'd love to say yes, except everybody, probably the reason I would want to is because the person who did it did such an amazing job that I ended up loving it. I don't think I could honestly say yes, because everyone's just so fantastic. I mean, I could tell you that my favorite female presenting character on the show is Powder. I love that character so much. I mean, I love that character, and she's just so well done.
Well, she's definitely a fan favorite, like, for sure. Okay, interesting answer. All right, this next question is going to be from Mick. It comes from Plays Alex. What would you say was the hardest part to voice in the series of Arcane?
The hardest part to voice in the series of Arcane, the hardest role or the hardest part of voicing Heimerdinger? And I asked role because they threw a couple of ancillary characters at some of us where we had to, cover certain characters. Like in the first 3 episodes, I was playing Henot, which is one of the underlings of one of the Cambarans. He's the guy that's like, they had me in the tunnels and I'm so allergic. And he's like, that was really fun. But I'm going to say like what was the hardest part of voicing Heimerdinger, because that's kind of my main role. And I would say that the hardest part of playing in this world, hopefully this is the answer to your question, Plays Alex, is the balance between keeping Heimerdinger fantastical, right? Keeping him fantastic, larger, or an element of fantasy in the show, but keeping him real enough that it doesn't feel like you're watching SpongeBob move amongst human beings, right? Like you want his humanity to come forth. That is why they gave him scenes like reacting to, Jace at the council and seeing the hex core. It's why they gave him groundedness. And that was a challenge. I mean, there were times where we were in session and I would think that was pretty good. And then David Lyerly, and this is in season 1 because David Lyerly was really trying to, who was our original voice director and the guy in charge of casting, he was really trying to set a tone, and he'd be like, that was okay. Let's do it again. And I just really want you to ground and go for the humanity. I like really imagine like what this guy's going through. And that was good. It was really good for me as an actor. I feel like when I got into this business, I got into it thinking I would do voice acting because I wasn't as confident in my acting skills. I considered myself a better showman, like a better performer, somebody who could like do the tricks and keep the audience in the palm of my hand. And I thought, oh, cartoons will be great. It's perfect for my skill set. Only to find out over the 20 years I've been in it is the better actor a performer is, the better they are at animation, even silly comedy driven kid stuff. Like you still have to be an incredible actor to do it. So this role, the hardest part was of playing Heimer was like keeping him having the fun of being whimsical, but keeping him as human as the rest of the characters. And it was a thrilling challenge. It was difficult, but it was so much fun.
Awesome. I was listening the whole time. I'm sorry, I sneezed.
That character is so different, from many of them that are so much more humanoid. And then you wonder, that's why Mick did such a great job, but it's like this little guy, yet, he's on the council, there's no discrimination because he's furry, And
comes in and he says, "Ooh, what a conundrum!" But then he ends the whole thing by saying, "I have truly lived." Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
Like you're playing with my emotions.
And he's so intelligent too. Such an intelligent, like wise soul in that little body.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, this next question comes from Sam Macias and is for Katie. When the reveal of Maddie being a bad guy happened, did you expect the fan reception to be what you expected for your character, or did it blow away all expectations you had for it?
It blew away all expectations. So I had underestimated. I poured so much of myself into that opening scene, that introduction to Maddie, and I knew she was going to be likable. I just had underestimated how lovable she would be, in that opening scene. And when the first few episodes of the season were released, I had such an outpouring of love. Oh my God, this is my new favorite character. She's adorable. I'll defend her to all this stuff. It was extreme, right? It was an extreme reaction. And I was like, oh my God, like I was so overwhelmed by the love for the character that in my mind, I almost was like, I'm just going to enjoy this for like a week or so and forget that she does what she does, right? I was like soaking it all up. And because I sort of underestimated the love people had for the character, I then also underestimated how hard that betrayal would hit and the impact that she would have. And I got to experience that firsthand at the finale screener for the show, where it was like thousands of people. We sort of shared the space with thousands of people and watched it all play out. And the reaction to that final scene with Maddie was like out of control. It was just like hundreds and hundreds of people on their feet and like screaming. I just could not believe the reaction, the outrage, and the sort of anger, and then the cheering when that bullet ricocheted was unbelievable. It was one of the bigger reactions in that screening. It shocked me to the core. Some girl, like a couple of seats away, was like, when it all played out, she was like, "F you, I knew it," or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, it was like being at like a rowdy match in Glasgow. And I was like, this is wild. But I have to say, the feeling, like the sort of the weird sort of electric synergy in that room of us all experiencing it together, even though the reaction was at like sort of Maddie's expense, it was one of the most exhilarating experiences I've ever had as an actor. Like every hair on my body and the back of my neck was on end, right? Like it was just a mad high. And so it was the whole thing has been a complete surprise. I knew the show was going to be a big success, but the outpouring for the show has shocked me to the core, and the outpouring in all its different shades for the character has also shaken me to the core.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Totally buy it. I mean, I was one of them on the reaction channel, man. Seeing the well, it was true though. I will say the way you do that intro as Maddie is so adorable. How did you not like fall in love with that character? You know, so totally valid. All right, awesome. This next one comes from We Last Reacts, and it is for Eve. When the dust settled after the finale, what do you imagine Less life is like?
God, I mean, I hope she I hope she made some money and she escaped town and she got out of the shimmer business and like just maybe she's like found a beach to kind of find her person on. I don't know. She's definitely still smoking, but yeah, I guess ideally she got out of the shady shimmer business and all of that. Yeah.
Have you seen the fan art that ships our characters?
Yes.
It's really beautiful. Listen, maybe that happened.
I mean, I would love that.
I mean, Face disappeared, so
yeah.
Why not?
I'm here for the Lest spin-off series. It's all espionage. It's all like listening and spying, and I'm here for it.
That would be amazing. You get to see all the like places that she goes and all that. Like that would be fascinating, actually.
And what brand of cigarettes does she smoke? Or is it vaping?
Yeah, yes. I don't even know what it was, but it was like a magical. I loved her character design so much. She was
international links girl of mystery.
Yeah. Almost like a Carmen Sandiego, but
yes. I'm here for it. I'm here for Lest Sandiego.
Yeah.
This isn't one of the picked questions, but now I'm just curious. Have you gotten a chance to cosplay as Lest yet?
Me, no. But I
totally pull it off.
It's funny. I did this like years ago, and then the strikes happened, and like you just sort of. When you're like kind of don't have quite as much screen time, like it's just a job and you don't really think about it. And then like one day I like went on Twitter and saw all this like art and I was like, I think that's me. I think I played that character. And, like, there were people like who didn't know that I played her and they were like trying to find who played her. And I was like, oh, hey, like that's me. And then it like kind of exploded and yeah.
Oh yeah, because your voice was lovely. Like the first time Les speak, like her look was already striking. Then she speaks, and you're just like, "Oh shit! Oh, am I okay?"
I'm feeling things. I'm feeling things right now.
I was like, "Oh,
thank you."
Like, okay, this is happening. This is fine. I'm fine." And then having Mel and Les on screen, it was a hard time to pay attention to the words. All right.
I know they're saying something important about the plot.
I had the filter, the little blurred filter, and I just,
have to watch this one again.
Yeah.
Gonna rewind a little.
That's great. That is great. All right, fantastic. This one is for Bill. This next one, it is from Dancing Taco. That's cool. Was there a difference in how you approached voicing Huck in season 1 versus season 2?
Oh God, yes. I mean, in the first season, like I said, he's just kind of like, shyster grifter, selling stuff and getting, fleeced. So he was very, very timid. And then after the shimmer, he became that kind of, even worse, but, so unsure of himself. So that was obvious. And that was like kind of like a slower arc. And then when I got to the second season, first of all, I'm like, oh my God, he's back. I'm like, yes. So that was great. And he starts off pretty much where he was at the beginning of the season. I mean, at the end of the first season. And then the transformation happens. And now, in the original one, I remember we were working through it with, David Lyerly, as Mick was talking about. And I thought that he would be that kind of nervous guy that did have a stutter. And that wasn't written in, but I'm like, that kind of, and it's because he has an impediment or because he's just such a nervous wreck because he doesn't know how it's going to go south for him. But when he was transformed, I said, do you think he would still stutter? Because, if people were commenting online, it's like, dude, Huck got a new hairline. It was like that. It was, whatever it was, Rogaine, I don't know, whatever, Victor is in his staff.
Arcane.
Yeah,
Talk
right.
to your
the
doctor
Arcane
about
Rogaine.
minoxidil.
Exactly. And then he's younger and he's fit. So his stutter went away, and there was a certain confidence, and also there was a certain calm that kind of befell him. It's like nothing to worry about anymore. He's got something to follow, and he's obviously in a higher position in the hierarchy of wherever Victor winds up. He lets him in. He's a gatekeeper. So there was so the short answer is there was a lot more confidence and just a lot more kind of like inner peace, because he's arrived. Are people fearing him? No. But is he important? Yeah. So that really contributed to it. So what a gift to play that, because any of the characters are essentially going to sound the same. But I feel that Huck really got some major like physiologically transformative and emotional things that happened that contributed to that. So there was definite like like a learning curve of like, where is he now? And the guys who were doing the ADR, or the directors, or anybody else, Amanda, all the writers and everything, it's all in there. And then if you have someone smart enough on the other side of the glass saying, don't forget this, Bill, I'm like, oh, I know. How about this? It's that collaboration that really makes a difference. And then you see the final product, it's like, oh, okay, everybody's on the right track here. So definitely differences.
Yeah, very cool. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so this question is going to be for all of you guys. It comes from 3.11-42x. And Eve, you did touch on it a little bit with what we were just talking about with Les. But the question is, what are your guys' favorite parts about the designs of your characters? If there's anything else you would like to elaborate, Eve?
I remember when we were recording, her ears being so cool, because like she's talking to Mel, but one of her ears is like over here listening to something happening in the other room, or so like for me, of course, it was the smoking. I love a smoking character. I love like even Cruella de Vil, there's like a cloud of smoke, I'm all in. But yeah, her ears were like very exciting, and I like love cats and grew up with cats, and so I was like, yeah, I know that vibe.
Very cool. It was cool that she could simultaneously have the conversation and still listen in to other things.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's totally fair. How about you, Turks?
That's a difficult one. Mel's design is I mean, I really love the fact that Mel is not a Black character who has a lot of Caucasianness about her features or her hair or her skin tone. She's a Black girl. And I love that, probably first and foremost. I love all of the gold details that you see in the first season that obviously turn into something very different. The gold freckles and the gold clips she has in her hair, and like all of those little details that then kind of turn into like she's got it everywhere. It's like real live Black girl magic. It's great.
Yeah, for sure. I like what you mentioned about the hair too, because I do remember when we first got to see her hair down after her scene, which it was so nice to actually see in animation 1, and she just looked stunning. I was like, oh yes, more Mel with her hair down.
Elijah, you're obsessed.
Listen, I don't need Tokes to find that. There's a whole compilation video that somebody else had made. Like, it literally became a thing. It's like a meme in the Arcane community of like the whole thing. Me, Mel, and Jace. It was a whole love triangle, and it just it was fun. So it's been nice to have you here, and I'm trying to stay composed. Audience, I see your content, and Katie, you're not helping. No, it was great. It was great.
They don't call her the cheeky Scot for nothing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Valid. Okay, yes, definitely some solid details. How about you, Meg? What are your favorite parts of Heimerdinger's
can we
design?
just linger on Mel for just a second? Because the design of Mel is gorgeous.
Yes.
Like gorgeous character design. And I'm going to talk out of school a little bit. I was on another interview with Amanda Overton on there, and she was, I think it was when we were traveling in Brazil to the fans over there, and they were and she was saying, like, when they brought her in to one of her first writers' room meetings, they were introducing all the characters and stuff, and they were talking about, well, this is Vi, and this is Jinx, and here's Jace, and she's like, wait a minute, who's this? And she's pointing to Mel, and she was like, this girl is this is who you should be talking about. And then she like pitched some of the story elements. They already had story elements for Mel Medarda and like where they wanted to go, of course, but like she was like, here's how we ramp that up, because this is the most compelling looking character here. And it had to do with like, you know, the secret magic and all of that kind of stuff. But anyway, so Mel is amazing and the design is amazing. And Tokes, you've heard me say this before, but I have to say it again publicly. Your performances, Mel, is gorgeous and rich and nuanced and everything that I think anybody could want for that character. You're just brilliant. Absolutely, and I mean it. So character design for Heimerdinger, I mean, he's so whimsical, he's so fun. I love the big, like, you know, dollop head of hair that he's got, like somebody like boink with a spoon and like dolloped him onto the earth or whatever. But I have to say my favorite element is probably his eyes. He has the most expressive, crystalline eyes. They're just I've hired, as many of us have, I've hired a fan artist to do prints for me for when I go and do signings. They're available at streamily.com, even right now if you'd like one. And one of my favorite artists, Merlin GG, always like kind of starts with, you know, or at least makes prominent Heimerdinger's very expressive eyes. And I just love the way that he's been drawn and rendered and the expressive-ness that those give him.
Yeah.
It's
solid.
So true.
They're so expressive. So freaking expressive. It's great.
It's a gorgeous
I will say, now that with the little shameless plug of Streamly, that's right, guys. It's in the chat, actually. It's been pinned at the top if you guys want prints from any of these guys to get signed. They do also usually will do them live on their own kind of streams or something. Link is in the description as well as it is pinned. And I will say there are very cute prints of Heimerdinger. There's a really, really amazing print of Lest. And then there's such a cheeky print of Maddie holding a particular pastry in her hand.
Are you ready? Shameless plug.
There.
Oh my God, where'd you get the cup?
Where did you get that?
Amazing!
I made it because I'm launching my own little Maddie merch line.
Yes!
I love it.
Scott.shop.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So great.
Brilliant.
Shameless plugs. Their prints are great. Huck has some cool prints. Mel has some cool prints. So if you guys want to check those out, link is there. But yeah, just
someone wrote that cup. That cup is a crime.
No, it's great. It's like, I want one.
That cup is a crime.
Oh my God! Well,
yeah, there it is. Crazy cat lady called you out. That's great. All right.
On my mug, when you put the hot water in,
it's a hate crime.
the clothes fall off.
I love it. Okay, Bill. Sorry, returning to you. What was your favorite parts about Huck's design?
I think if you cut 2 fingers off my hand, I could count on one hand how many times I had a buff character. I'm just not playing. It's like well, that is 3, you know. But I mean, I've played like strapping cowboys, you know what I mean, which is not me, you know, big old guy, you know. Or someone who's fit or in shape, or even not as much, but something that's in a huge leadership position where people look up to him. You know, sometimes they're just a little bit of a lower status. And Huck began that way, and I'm like, well, I'm not surprised. So in terms of the design, again, it's about the transformation. But in the second one, I was getting comments like, Huck got buff, man. Huck is ripped. Huck is swole. You know, and I'm like, ooh, that's me. So, you know, so you do feel that it's like the character. It's like, no, Nick, Mick doesn't have as much fur as Heimerdinger, you know,
No.
but it's his character, you
Well,
know. So
only my doctor knows for sure.
yeah, exactly. So now we're back to Rogaine. But yeah, so the idea that the character is now like kind of handsome and buff, that was like, I really enjoyed that. And you know, that can inform the playing as well. But that was fun. What was fun for me is going from what's someone a little bit more nebbishy and menschy to someone who is suffering, you know, and you know, he had just all kinds of crap. It was awful. And I had acne in high school, so I know what that's like. There's my sense memory. But actually going to like, you know, that you know, really fit guy who's in shape, and you know, people can go like, wow, you know, he stands for something physically. That was one of my favorite things about Huck.
Nice. Oh, that's very cool. I'm glad you got to play somebody who got swole in the end.
I know.
Yeah.
And listen, and then I just started going to the gym more, because you never know when I'm gonna buy that kind of tunic for myself for cosplay.
Hey, you could cosplay him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what the heck?
Next time.
Bill, I could
Be
see
like-
you in a chitin.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I might need a little bit more lotion. So whatever.
That's amazing. How about you, Katie? Any favorite designs about your character?
Well, you know I love a ginger, and you know I only play gay and bisexual gingers. That's my whole thing. It's funny actually, because I do actually most of my characters. And actually, I just had another. I'm in a game called Avowed that just came out recently, and I hadn't seen the character at all, you know, until the release. And I watched a clip on YouTube of the character, and I was like, I wonder if she's going to be ginger, like surely not. And she is. She is also ginger, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't escape this. But I love it. What's funny is that the character of Maddie, they use my images and my session, you know, the tapings of my sessions, my voice recording sessions, to build the image of the character. So they built her features around my features, but then made them like super kind of youthful and cutesy, and you know, and then did the ginger hair and the freckles and all that stuff. So it's kind of a trip. It's hard to fully detach from that. When I did see her, I did think, oh my god, she's so cute. And then what was really amazing to me actually was how they captured her in the animation, particularly in that opening scene. I have a lot, as a person, I have a lot of twitchy, nervous, ADHD energy, and they somehow infused that into the character. And so when I first watched that opening scene, I was almost like equal parts like fascinated and also uncomfortable. I was like, oh, she's kind of like, you know, do you know what I mean? It was so close to home that it was really hard to separate myself. But over time, I realized she's just a Satsuma with a smiley face painted on, and I'm obsessed with her. She's my baby.
Yeah, I will
Isn't
say.
it kind of funny? I'm sorry. I would just say
No, go
it's
for it.
kind of funny when sometimes you're recording something, and sometimes it happens in Arcane, or you know, whenever it happened. But there'll be that video camera that's shooting you, and that could be for the Zoom. Before the pandemic, it wasn't. But and it's like, wait a minute, they're doing, you know, really voice facial reference stuff. And then when you see some of the animation and you're like, wow, you know, like I didn't know Mick, and he doesn't look a lot like Heimerdinger, but it's like after I met him, I'm like,
The essence, they
wow.
captured the essence.
Yeah, and then
It's amazing.
definitely same with Maddie and Mel. So I think to an extent that's a big thing. And I don't think it's a crime, you know, but it is something that any animator, because I used to know a guy who worked for, like, you know, the old Disney animation things. And he said all the good animators had mirrors by their workstation, and they'd be looking in the, you know, angry and, you know, all the stuff. And they would use that as the reference before you could, you know, you could do facial capture of on video. And so I think it's interesting when you see characters that are that well animated, you realize, no, they're taking real human acting references. You know, so that's just a really good point that Katie made. That's, I mean, like,
we
you know,
had cameras on us, so like the facial expressions and stuff from most of our characters are, you know, my mum was like, she's got your facial expressions really creepy. I was like, no.
That's awesome.
Isn't that amazing? Also, just to address someone in there's been a lot of talk about my character's ponytail, because she's got this kind of weird little ponytail. I am almost like certain it's because during the pandemic, I got my hair cut during the pandemic and I just cut it really short. I was like, fuck it, and put it in a little weird ponytail. And I'm certain that that's where that weird ponytail came from. I think it was mine.
What?
And actually,
Wow.
the couple of scenes, the cat, like maybe this is just me nitpicking. The character's lips look really dry, and I'm like, was I not wearing chapstick that day? Like, how far did they take?
What?
I'm like, how far did they take the details? Right?
We're really drilling down on this.
Yeah, right. No, like, wow.
Weird. It was weird.
Those cameras, they really get in all the details.
And actually, it took me a couple, I don't know about you guys, it took me a couple of sessions to spot the camera because it was a tiny little thing. And then when I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. I was like, oh my God, like I'm being watched. Like, what is this?
And you wonder, people close to you are like, dude, I could totally see that was you. And you're like,
Yeah.
what? It's
No,
like,
it's
what do
true.
you mean? Those are your eyes, man. And you're like, get out of here. It's an octopus. You know?
I
It's
think that's what it is actually, because even speaking to you guys now today, it's definitely the eyes. I think they've mastered capturing the way you guys express your words with your eyes. Because if I just look at your eyes, that is where I see the characters. It's not necessarily the whole face, but it's definitely the eyes. I think that's what it is.
Wow.
I think you're right.
Yeah, especially you with your big blues, Katie. It's very, very much like Maddie. They gave her big
Yeah,
blues
they
as
did give
well.
her kind of big expressive blues and baby blues. And yet, with the nuance with which she was animated, it was really hard to tell what she was thinking. They concealed so much of what was going on beneath the surface. Like it's sort of they were windows to the soul and they weren't at the same time. Like it was just something about even the fact they mastered that in, you know, in the way that they did was unbelievable to me. So
yeah, and then you're so surprised with the betrayal. It's like,
Yeah.
wait, I loved her.
They did something really clever too. If you watch that scene frame by frame where the bullet ricochets, I don't know how many of you guys have tried it. That's the only time you see her inner self, because one of the frames when it flashes, she's actually grinning really evilly and she's like
did you
colored
guys
in.
this? Like
It's really cool. Fortiche like slipped that in there so quick. You have to go frame by frame to see it.
I
And
missed
she
it,
has
and then
the
I
most
saw it
wicked
online.
grin.
Yeah, it's like there's a black and white flash when the gun goes
Yes.
off, and you just see this wide Cheshire cat smile with the outline of Maddie.
Yeah,
And she's
she's
like,
evil.
Yeah,
and then
there's a
people
guy
are
on
like,
Instagram
"Psycho?"
who like kind of takes that stuff apart. Can't think of his name right now, but he's really great. And he'll take like scenes and say, have you guys watched this in ultra slow motion? And then something happens. It's like, I didn't even see that. It's like subliminal advertising in the 70s. It's like,
amazing.
you know.
I would have totally
cool.
missed it if I didn't see it online, and it was kind of chilling. And then people were like, "Is Maddie a psychopath?" And I was like, "I don't know. It's becoming more and more difficult to defend this person."
You're like, no, my baby.
Right.
She's crazy.
Yeah, those Fortiche guys are unbelievable. I met one of them and he totally French. So we're at the first premiere.
What are you talking about, Bill?
Yes, exactly.
Press it on.
Hello. They said, Bill, this is Jean-Paul, whatever his name was. And he went, hello. And he said this, I think something along the lines of, I do you. And I'm like, well, I've heard the French are, aggressive romantics, but this is like, I do you. And I'm like, I just met you, man. Give me a drink. And he's like, no, I draw you. I draw you. And then his partner came over, spoke better English, and said, no, we're two of the guys that worked on the character. And I was like, oh my God. But they are like, they're just wizards, the Fortiche guys. They're amazing. Even just the scenery, it's like, forget the people and the characters. It's like just the whole look is great, but they're like dedicated. They're amazing.
Oh yeah, some of the most stunning visuals for animation, I think, thus far, for sure. Well, we have hit the 1 hour mark. How are you guys doing with time? Is there any of you that need to hop off? Do you want to continue to the hour and a half? We do have a couple more questions if you want to do them. If not, we can end it here. Up to you guys.
I'm good, but I'm very lonely, so I'll stick around.
Also lonely, sad, catless lady here.
No, I'm not lonely, but I love all of you very much.
Oh,
Yes. I don't
All
mind
right.
staying. I don't mind staying a little longer.
it's fun.
Longer too. Let's do a little longer.
Let's
Yeah.
do a
Fun.
little longer. How about you guys in the chat? You guys ready for maybe another half hour? You guys good? Yeah, they're excited. All
Yeah,
right.
the real problem if 20 of them just dropped off. It's like, no, we're done.
Bye.
Hour's my limit.
You insulted the French. We're out of here.
Exactly.
We.
Again.
All right. Awesome. So we will then continue with the individual questions. We've got another one for Tokes here. This one comes from the Destroyer Asylum 5449. Out of all the screen time Mel gets through seasons 1 and 2 of Arcane, what was your favorite moment playing as Mel? And would you be excited to play Mel again if the opportunity arose?
Oh yeah, I would play Mel again in a second.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, my favorite. That's difficult. I don't know. I don't think I could choose, if I'm being honest. I don't know. That's a hard one.
That's fair. She has a lot
I need
of
some
amazing
time to think about that. Like, there's nothing to
pick?
tell. I
How do
love
you
all of it.
That's fair. That's fair. She has some very epic scenes, I think, almost in every season every episode she's almost in, right?
Yeah.
That's fair. That is fair. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Also, I have to Katie, my friend Tina, she's the one playing with Heart. She jumped on your cat comment there. She says, I'll be sitting here with my cat sending non-loneliness vibes. So
Oh, hi Tina. Come hang out with me, Tina.
that's great. Awesome. Okay, so this next one's gonna be for Mick. It comes from Coolman37. What was your favorite part about voicing Heimerdinger?
Voicing Heimerdinger. He's just such a wonderful character. I love getting to play in that whimsical space. You know, when he gets reintroduced in the beginning of season 2, him and Echo are infiltrating the academy, right? And he's just he's living his best life, trying to play super spy, and he's like, the brambleback has left the jungle, which is also like a line from the game that they snuck in as like as an Easter egg. But like Heimer's like, we're going this way. He's so fun. And then he also gets to have these incredible moments where, like I've alluded to it before, where he looks at the hex core, right? And Jace and Victor are like, we created this thing and look what it's doing. And he's like, you must destroy it. I have seen civilizations wiped out by a single seed. And like he's just so what's amazing about Heimerdinger is he has those moments like that. But then he's also like the most straightforward character. I saw a video essay, and I much to my shame, I don't remember who did it, but there's a video essay on YouTube about Heimer's character arc, and the essayist is so insightful about Heimer's arc, and he's just so straightforward. He goes from being kind of like detached and in a world that he doesn't really belong in as a politician, to going back to science and going back to being relational and becoming like the perfect helper, scientific partner role, which is what he was meant to do. And it's just playing a character like that is a mentor, but also on a voyage of self-discovery, and who gets to sing a folk song is incredible. So that's my favorite part.
That's great. Yeah, it's Heimerdinger.
Next, while you were talking there, even the serious stuff, I was like smiling to myself because I was remembering Mick and I did like a karaoke night at Riot Games, and we did a duet of like a virgin.
Like a virgin.
Mick sang it as Heimer, and it was just like, there's a video somewhere. I'll repost it online. It was like the
Please
best.
post it.
It was my favorite moment.
Touched for the very first time.
Okay, I need all the fan artists out there to draw that as Maddie and Heimerdinger just jamming at this karaoke.
Madonna.
We need the visual. That'd be great. Oh my goodness. That's amazing.
Karaoke.
If that video ever gets out, you know there's gonna be animatics. Okay, that's amazing. Next question is gonna be for Katie. This comes from District Diva 407. Do you have a favorite line you voiced for Maddie?
Yes.
Oh,
you know, like I did appreciate your warmth is the line that, well, but also I loved some of the playful lines in the opening as well, you know. It's written on your face. I love that kind of cheeky playfulness.
Yeah.
before she unraveled into.
To matter.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite. Yeah, those are some of my favorite lines of hers. But there's a lot, you know. But yeah, those are favorites. Surprise, surprise. No surprises there.
She did have a great opening. That is completely fair.
Yeah.
All right. This next question is going to be for Eve. It comes from Kaylee Loves You 24. What do you think happened to Lest in Act 3?
Gosh, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't really know what Act 3 means, to be honest with you. I've actually.
So the last 3 episodes,
yes,
like we didn't really get to see what happened with Les after everything. So I guess in your mind, like, what would you think happened to Les? What did she get up to? What happened while all the fighting was going on? Just your own little headcanon. What do you think?
I mean, I guess the fear would be that she got in some sort of trouble or got, you know, like you know, sold out or something by somebody, and but I'm still holding on to that she left town with Mel and they found each other and they're just happily like laying on a hammock somewhere, you know.
Someone draw it.
Yeah, I was about to say, you know, the artists are gonna go nuts now. You're gonna see a lot more artwork on your timelines. I hope you know that.
They're sharing the cigarette.
I mean, as dangerous a game as Lest was playing, I think she strikes me as a very smart, savvy character. She probably got out and got as far away as possible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's very agile too. So
right? Yeah. She can literally hear danger coming a mile away.
Yeah.
Like
you're not
cat.
Gonna bust Lest.
She's like a cat.
Can totally see that. Absolutely. That's great. Oh yeah, the chat's going nuts. All the artists are going crazy.
Yes.
They're like, artists, you know what to do. Yeah.
It's like
happening.
ink is at a premium now.
I think you started something too, but with the comment of them sharing the cigarette, I could totally see that being in some artwork now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
That's just all Bill's post-coital stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'm just
question.
Okay.
That's amazing.
On that note as well, the fan art has been absolutely incredible. Like, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but it's like I could just get lost for.
Yeah.
I'm not really someone that gets lost on like Twitter and all these, but I have been with the fan art. It's been like a little gingerbread trail of delights. So thank you to all the artists who've just poured so much of their talent and passion into, you know, depicting these characters and all kinds. There's been all kinds of the creativity has blown my mind.
I just can't believe some of the, even just some of the digital things, not just the regular artwork, and just like, my God, this is jumping off my screen. Is this a picture? It's unbelievable. And then like in kind, some of the cosplay is just like, what the hell is that? It's like, wait, is that from the show? It's like, no, that's a picture of someone spending the time, and then the creations of like, we're gonna make a glove that works and shoots stuff, and the creativity is off the charts sometimes.
The fanfic stuff as well. I've dipped into a little guilty pleasure of mine.
I'm not
it's
surprised.
Unreal. There's so many amazing writers out there too. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's
really cool.
It's been insane.
You love to see it.
Oh yeah, going to conventions, you can really see some of the cosplays are just like the details. They've even they'll paint like Vi's jacket even with the same scuff marks and stuff in the show. It's wild. It's very, very wild in the best way.
Amazing.
All right. Awesome. This next question is going to be for Bill. It comes from Shades for Days. What kind of hobbies do you think Huck would have been into if he never got involved with Shimmer?
I would think he would be going to Vegas to be a croupier. You know what I mean? Just to have the upper hand to win money, and you know the house wins. You know, so I think that but I think you kind of have to look at like where he started. You know, to be like, what would his hobby be? Because, you know, if you're not under duress in your life, that's when you find hobbies. It's not like I'm miserable, you know. It's like when you have a little bit of free time. So, yeah, I would put something in that's a little bit more where he has a little bit more control. In other words, not skydiving.
Ah.
But yeah, I would put it definitely in the category of like, I'm in control of this. This is a great hobby. Like games of chance, but I control the slot machine. So things like that. And yeah, and I guess the question for me is like, is friendship a hobby? Is cultivating friendships one of your interests and hobbies? Because I get the feeling he's kind of a loner. And any really good hobby, I think you've got to have human interaction, and I think he was just bereft. He just didn't have it, and then Vander saves him, and in one of the first scenes, and it's like, well, he's my friend, and Vander's probably like, no, I'm not. I'm just the guy who pours the drinks. So don't tell JB I did that. But anyway, yeah. So I think about that. I think something like control and not under somebody's thumb. That kind of like I'm in charge now. So that would be my answer.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
Or paper airplanes. I don't know.
Maybe he's the guy that like
origami in his spare time.
Yeah, I could see him like making like those little model airplanes and painting and stuff. I could see that. Something that he can make. I think I could totally see that. Awesome. All right, this
Good question.
thanks. This next one's gonna be a fun one for all of you guys. We could do the going in order thing. Comes from I Am a Peace Monster, and the question is, what are yours and your character's favorite go-to snacks?
Minnows and catnip and
That's great.
Goldfish from the bowl, from the goldfish bowl.
I could see like she just like goes to Petco and like grabs all those little
she's
beta
right.
fish.
She's in the kibble aisle.
Yeah. That's amazing. And then what are your favorite go-to snacks? It's a twofer.
Oh, I'm like, I go to Trader Joe's and I buy like 6 of those peanut butter pretzels and like,
are they not so addicting?
Yeah, and I'll go through them in like a week. I love those.
They're so good. Those are dangerous. You start with one and then the bag's gone.
Yeah, truly.
Okay, all right. Again, I think that might trigger some more drawings now. Just like Lest walking into these pet shops now and just like coming out with a whole stack of betas and just like walks out.
Each in the little individual tubs.
Yeah.
They're out of chocolate covered pretzels now. Like there's a run on them. We can't explain it.
That's great. All right, Doug, how about you? Your favorite go-to snacks, as well as what do you think Mel's are?
Oh boy. I'm gonna say that she gets cravings for things that she had in her childhood, and I'm gonna say that in her childhood, in her background, it's like Nigerian food. So she likes the sweet stuff, and she likes what we call puff puff, which is like almost like somewhere between a donut hole and a beignet. Ooh. And then there's this snack called chin chin, which is basically just dough that's like cut into tiny pieces and then fried. So I'm going to say that's for her, which used to be like my favorites if I'm at home in Nigeria. Yeah. For me, I mean, it depends on, a lot of times I like to snack. This is going to sound silly, but I like to snack on fruit a lot. I love a Daily Harvest smoothie, but then there are times that I'll get cravings for, I don't even remember what the company's called. I shop by the way things look. I never remember what they're called, but there's, I think it's called like Spudsy or something. They make these sweet potato.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
The hot ones.
I literally had them like 2 days ago. They're amazing.
Those ones, if I start, the whole bag is gone. And then I also love sorbet. If you put sorbet in front of me, like a big, oh my God, I love sorbet.
How it feels very British. Is that a thing that people do?
It's in LA. It's so difficult to find.
Yes, it is.
Every restaurant in New York has sorbet.
I love like a lemon sorbet.
Huh?
Yeah,
a lemon sorbet is.
Oh my God! You know how they do it in England in the Italian restaurants in the lemon?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh, I miss that so much.
I miss it too.
The old frozen lemon. Yeah. It is good, and the presentation is like, I love this dessert.
Sounds like it would be very refreshing too in like the summertime or when it's hot out. Oh, that'd be
Yeah,
lovely.
now I have to make one.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right, you're a chef. Could you pop one by my house, please?
Like,
We're all going to Bill's house
Yeah,
for lemon sorbets after this.
That's right.
I'm getting on a plane.
that's great. All right, Mick, what do you think? What's your favorite go-to snacks as well as Heimerdingers?
In terms of snacks, every so often I get a hankering for homemade popcorn. I just love it. And so that's probably my go-to snacks. I mean, I keep candies and other things like chocolate covered almonds or peanut butter cups, that kind of thing around. But really, like when I'm in a snacky mood, I'm like, I'm gonna make some popcorn. I want some popcorn. I can't go to the movies without it. Also, which of course these days means that my movie trips cost $400,000.
Yep, plus tax.
Plus tax. 99.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I'm a sucker for popcorn. I think Heimerdinger's go-to snack is pure science with a side of hot tea. He snacks.
Perfect.
Very classy.
That is
I can
perfect.
see that. Now, question with your popcorn thing: do you do the salty sweet? Would you throw in your Reese's cups and the M&Ms or something with the popcorn?
Oh yeah, there's nothing like a good pokey popcorn with the M&Ms in there, or the Reese's Pieces in there, for sure. And kettle corn, that savory sweet as well. I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Nice.
But
Ugh,
yeah,
makes me hungry.
candy and popcorn together, or a red vine. Use the red vine as the straw for the Coca-Cola. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm back at the movie theater.
It's so good. It's so good.
We actually did send my husband to go and get us popcorn, like right as the screening was starting. We were like, we need popcorn.
It's true. It's true.
He's like, we were like, no, you go get the popcorn.
Could you please get the pop? Get me one too, please.
For the whole
Literally, as the finale screening was happening.
That's awesome. How about you, Bill? What are your favorite go-to snacks, and what do you think Hucks are?
Well, in terms of Huck, I mean, those little foil-covered coins, with the chocolate. It's like, and sometimes they melt it. I could see that it's just kind of that money thing. And then it was
Gelt.
Yes, exactly. And then Shimmer, which unfortunately, not really a snack. Everybody, stay away, kids. But and as for me on that side, it's like, well, how about a vodka gimlet? It's like,
that's
good
what I'm
snack for
talking
me.
about.
But in terms of like reach into a bag snacks, I'm a peanut nut, and they're supposed to be good for you. And those smokehouse almonds. So anytime's a handful of nuts and raisins. So I mean, it seemed like a squirrel, but with snack.
He's a hunter-gatherer, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, exactly. So my hand is often in the nut jar, but the problem is that my real, vice is like, cookies, Oreos. It's like kryptonite, it's like my weakness. So, we have to watch it. I mean, if there's a cookie jar in the house, like I'm diving in, and it's a treat for anything. It's like, well, I got up this morning. How about a cookie? I took the dog out. How about a cookie? It's like, I took 3 breaths in a row. How about a cookie? So I have to watch that, and it would keep me going to the gym. But short of that, I will try and reach for the healthier things. Like really, the amount of nuts I go through is ridiculous. And then raisins, I love raisins. So yeah, pretty healthy, but yeah, don't be fooled.
That's
Don't
fair.
be fooled. If there's a cookie, I'm on it.
I'll tell you guys what, if you guys ever want like a nice, refreshing, healthy snack, especially when it's nice and hot out, if you ever try freezing your grapes, have like frozen grapes, it's so good.
I've heard about that.
It's so freaking good. What about you, Katie? I know you're a snack lover. What are your top snacks? And then what do you think Maddie's are?
I'm a big snack lover. I'm laughing. I'm internally in hysterics because somebody wrote for Maddie's favorite snack. Someone wrote, Katie, we know what you're thinking. Do it. And I'm like, cupcake. Yes, I think Maddie enjoys a cupcake. So do I. That's one of my favorite snacks. I like a sort of
Is
lemon
it?
and vanilla. I like sort of. I'm not a chocolate cupcake person. I like lemon and vanilla. I like little rainbow sprinkles added to all my sweet snacks. I'm kind of in a vicious cycle just now where I like have been craving. Does anyone else get this? Where you crave a sweet snack and then right after it you crave something salty, and then right
Yes.
after it you
Every
crave
time.
something sweet, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't escape this cycle. It's
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I am vegan.
She's going to a 12-step meeting after this. ladies.
Yeah, exactly. It's a real problem.
Yeah, it's called
I'm
flavor
I'm
fatigue,
vegan,
by the way.
but I don't think Maddie would be. I think Maddie likes cupcakes and like bloody haggis stuffed with like the heart and liver of
Haggis.
a sheep.
I've had haggis.
Mm.
Have you?
Not for the timid.
Did you enjoy it?
I was in Scotland and someone said, Bill, we want you to try the haggis. and I did, but he didn't get it. He goes, we'll get it for you. And I'm waiting, and it comes, and I'm like, what is this? It's a bladder filled with meat. And and then you eat it, and it's like a sausage, but very different. And I liked it, and they looked at me like, not everybody likes the haggis, Bill. So
Did you know what it was though before you tucked in?
oh yeah, he told me as I was eating it. Isn't that? Would you like to share that with them, Katie? What a haggis is?
Well, traditionally it's sort of a sort of sheep's stomach, but I think they use other things now for the little bag. But it's sort of it's like liver, lungs, stuff. Like there's some oatmeal in there and spices and onions and stuff. I will tell you that the veggie haggis is really good because that's more just sort of oats and spices. If you ever get the chance to try it.
Yeah, this was at a really nice restaurant.
Was it really?
Yet, it was in Scotland, and he says you got to have it. And then the waiter brought it out, but I was like this, this novelty. I was the American who hadn't had a haggis, and everybody was kind of watching me to see my reaction. But it wasn't bad, it was like a kind of an elevated sausage.
But you're a chef, and chefs like sweet breads and stuff like that. You guys like that stuff.
Yeah,
I am also vegan, so I'm like,
yeah, you're the same as me.
So clearly, haggis not for you. You are not going to be a haggis person ever.
Nope.
It's anti-vegan.
Yeah, so I think Maddie would like sort of traditional Scottish. There's like traditional. There's like, does anyone try like Tunnock's tea cakes or anything? Like they're very Scottish. I think Maddie would be into sort of traditional Scottish snacks in that way. I can see her like in her little kitchen making tablet and other little Scottish delights. So
yeah.
What's
very
tablet?
Cool. Oh, it's delicious.
Oh, I've had that.
Have you?
Moscow put me through all the traditions. Yeah, when I went to Scotland, they're very sweet. It's the condensed milk things, right?
Condensed milk, sugar, very simple, and you just sort of. But Tokes, you can get vegan condensed milk, so you can make it with like an oat condensed milk as well. It's very.
I have it in my. I listen. I have the condensed milk. I've got to have that like nice sweet.
Oh, it's so delicious. When I was a kid, I used to eat condensed milk with like a spoon out of the tin at my wee granny's house. I love it.
Yeah,
it's so nostalgic.
Very good. Yeah, we didn't have many sweet snacks in Nigeria, so same.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that, you know what? I think that was an excellent question to end the stream on. We are now reaching the end. So I just want to give you guys an opportunity before we hop off we'll go in order again. If you want to share your socials as well as any projects that you can share that you would like to advertise, as well as if you know any dates where you will be doing your live signings. The floor is yours. We will start with Eve.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram. I know I previously mentioned Twitter, but I recently deleted my Twitter for reasons that we know.
Blue sky. Hey.
Which sucks though, because there was so much good art there. So follow me on Instagram. I don't know when I'm doing my signing, but I will post about it. Once I know, you will know. So.
Awesome. If you guys want the links to their Instagrams, by the way, they are all in the description for all of these guys. So just a heads up if those are the ones they mentioned. But yeah, okay. And any projects or anything coming up?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot but it's all local LA. Good. So it's but come on down. And I had a movie come out last year, which is streaming somewhere. It's called National Anthem. And yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's awesome. Yeah. How about you, Toads?
You can find me pretty much just on Instagram, and it's at Toksolagundoye. My Twitter is still there, but I've not posted on it pretty much since it became X for probably obvious reasons.
Valid.
I haven't deleted it because I don't want someone else like forming an account and pretending they're me. That's
That's
only
fair.
Yeah, I go through. It's like, you know, fits and starts. Sometimes I'm posting every day, and sometimes you won't hear from me for like a month. So I am having a signing at 12:30 Pacific time. It's in about an hour on Instagram today.
Nice.
My Streamily link is in my bio for my Instagram. If you want to see me in anything, the most recent thing I did is Frasier. We've got 2 very good seasons of Frasier up. Before that was Fatal Attraction, so you can watch that. I think they're both on Not. I blocked it out because they cancelled Frasier.
Peacock, Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus, thank you. The other P.
There you
we
go.
You can also find them on Amazon and actually. Yeah, I mean, I'm fairly busy with animation, and I'm working on animation right now. It's not much going on in LA, but I don't think I'm working on anything that I am allowed to talk about right now. But yeah, you can, if you want to hear my voice and stuff, I'm in tons of stuff. You can IMDb any one of us. Yeah. And there'll be tons and tons and tons of stuff that you can watch.
I will say, because of the whole like Mel thing, I ended up watching and reacting to DuckTales on my channel, and I had no idea you were Beakley. And the second somebody pointed it out, I was like, "Oh, why would you tell me?" I was like, "Why would you?" Now I cannot listen to Mrs. Beakley without thinking of Mel. Now they've ruined it for me.
And Countess Cleo in Carmen Sandiego.
Oh my goodness.
And Nefua in Steven Universe. Good luck with that one.
Oh yes, you know what's funny? My girlfriend is actually currently reacting to Steven Universe, so she will be running into that character very soon. Yeah. So anyway, it's just you have a very distinct voice, and now it just makes it difficult to pay attention to the characters and not think of Mel. Mick.
Yeah, I'm on all social. Well, not all. I'm not on Twitter. I am on Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky under my handle @MickWingert. I was lucky enough to get just first and last, and I'm on those 3 platforms. I will say that, like, because of the political state of things in the U.S., a lot of my posts these days are reposts of political content, that kind of thing. If that's not your speed, I totally get it. You're still welcome to follow me, but you don't have to check my stories or anything. But I do post like Streamily events and career stuff there as well. I am in terms of projects. There's a couple of things I can't talk about yet, but I will say that I'm excited about them. Some in the video game space, and I am currently voice directing on a show called Bat Wheels, which I also get to be in as a couple of characters, including the Joker opposite Batman, which is super fun. And it's a preschool show, but it's still super fun for kids and adults, and I just love being a part of it. And so, you know, that's currently on both Netflix and Max, I think. So check it out. Have some fun.
Very cool. Awesome. How about you, Bill?
Instagram @BLobley, BLOBLEY. I am doing a couple things. Yeah, it's weird. It's like, can't talk about that. So a couple things, but one of them that just got released is called OMG Yes. Oh my God, yes. It's on Adult Swim, and it's about people dating in the 23rd century, and it's really, really raunchy. In counterpoint to some preschool stuff I did, so you know you get to do all kinds of things.
You really do.
That's on Adult Swim, and it's Sunday nights, and it's just a really, really funny raunchy show. It's not for kids. Doing a signing next week on Streamily. There you go. There you go. Right there.
Yay!
That's March 23rd at 2 p.m. Eastern. Bill Mobley, and yeah. So you can check out my link tree in my Instagram and see that, and then I'll be signing a couple of I even brought the prints like a self-aggrandizing idiot.
Ah!
But yeah, so come and see those this time. It's really fun, and then some cons coming up, etc. But yeah, just what a fun thing to do today with you guys. Really loved it.
Oh, great. Glad you had a good time.
Yeah.
And then Katie, you want to sign us off then? What's going on with you, girly?
What's going on with me? So much time. You can find me at the Cheeky Scott on all platforms, particularly Instagram. I don't post a lot of serious political stuff in my stories, but I do like to sort of gather garbage.
Your stories are so
from the internet.
So good. It's so good.
I like to repost a lot of hilarious and bizarre garbage, which brings me a lot of joy. My Streamily shop is open. On there, I'm doing a sort of video combo. So if you order a print on there, you'll get a sort of personalized video of me signing the print. And then I've got my own little shop, the Cheeky Scott shop, where I'm going to be dropping like various merch over coming weeks. And
nice.
Yeah, you can find me in Avowed. It doesn't take long to find me. My character's called Alora. She's the ginger that's behind bars. You won't miss me. And, just another shady ginger. I know, it's like, what's going on? And then my other stuff is pretty secretive, but I'm going to be doing some cons this year, and so I'll be posting about those on my socials as well.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here today. It was absolutely lovely meeting all of you. Hopefully we have some more Arcane stuff in the future planned. Have fun on your signings. Again, guys, especially for Toke, she will be doing hers today. So if you're trying to get a Mel print in there before she goes live to sign them, check the link in the description as well as the pin. You can get your cool Mel prints there and she will sign them. But yeah, thank you to Streamily, Andrew in the background doing the tech. Thank you so much. And for you guys, Andrew will end the stream, so you can just hang tight, and then after the live ends, then we can properly hop off. But for those of you watching, thank you so much. Really appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye all. Thanks.